All right, guys, we are back again with another guest on this month's May I Writer interview series, and we have none other than the wonderful, the gorgeous, the lovely Katie Turner, Miss Ferocious Katie herself. She is a freelance writer, a blogger, and author of the upcoming speculative fiction series. She enjoys good coffee, karaoke, and going on adventures with her family. If you want to keep in contact with her, just follow her on Twitter at Ferocious Katie or on her blog at ferociouskatie.com. Katie, we're so glad to have you with us here. How are you?
I'm good. I'd be better if I wasn't pregnant anymore, but I don't have much longer to go. So.
Well, we are glad that you found the time, the strength to even join us. I know when I was that far along, pregnant with my girls, probably just wanted to kick my feet up somewhere. So we truly appreciate you spending some of your time with us.
No problem. I wish relaxing was part of my personality, but it's
yeah, it's all right. Well, like I said, I know you probably want to get some rest, so we're not going to take up a whole lot of your time. We're going to go ahead and jump right in with our first question, which is, a lot of our viewers may not know you, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you enjoy doing outside of writing?
Well, for one thing, I love hockey, which I'm actually missing an important game right now. It's Game 7 between Pittsburgh and the Capitals. That's okay.
Oh, no! We're sorry, Katie.
No, I figured they'd be done by now, and they're just stretching it out, but that's okay.
Are you DVRing it?
Other than that, I'm definitely a nerd at heart. Obviously, reading is a big part of my life. I really enjoy cooking and other people. So I'm constantly like inviting people over and like my food. Other than that, I mean, I'm pretty low key. I guess I'm kind of like a lot of writers. You're kind of home buddies a little bit. But yeah, and then writing. I do a lot of writing, whether it's for business or for pleasure. That's really like my passion. I kind of everything kind of around that. So
Okay. Awesome. I finally got it off my bucket list to attend a hockey game. And so far I've been to 2 or 3 and they haven't disappointed me. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it.
I feel like hockey, out of all the sports that you go to see, I feel like hockey has the best energy. It really does. It's not like baseball or football or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get to see enough because they're expensive, but
yeah.
babysitters, but yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, everyone, again, like I said, doesn't know you, so tell us, what kind of writing do you actually do?
Well, for business, I do content writing for other businesses. And then I have my blog, which is basically like a lifestyle blog for writers, specifically mom writers. I felt after I had my son that there was a lot of women that they kind of fall into this, I guess it's kind of a little bit of a trap that like once you become a mom, you know, everything's about your kid. Now, I would hear so many like, oh yeah, I'd love to write a book. I'd love to have the time to write a book. Maybe when my kid goes to kindergarten, maybe when they graduate. And you're not writing. Like, it's not open. Like, you just have to make the time. And after I had my son, I stopped writing for a little bit, and it just made me so depressed. Like, I have that creative writing outlet. Kind of my focus of my blog to kind of be an encouragement to writers like, hey, I launched my blog when I was like 5 months pregnant and I have a 2-year-old and all these other things, but you just have to make the time for creative writing.
Okay. I totally love that comment you made about moms, and it's true. We can get in that rut, we wear the mom badge, we're over here, we're over there, we're taking care of everyone and everything, and we think like, this is it. This is all I'm gonna do. I know I did, and like you said,
That's a bad thing. Like,
no, it's not.
From that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to take time for you. If it's important to you, you need to do it.
Right. Right.
Writing my self-care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. Gosh, I remember I actually got the opportunity to be the stay-at-home mom for a bit with my first child, and then again with our last child, our third one. And that third time around, I just, like you said, I got depressed because I felt like that's all I was doing was the mom stuff and the wife stuff and, just for everybody else. And I didn't feel like I had something for me. And writing was that outlet. Like you said, just that creative writing, it was my way of having me time. So, I think that's totally, totally important. And like you said, we've just got to make time for it, whether we get up earlier or stay up a little later or nap time or lunchtime or whatever, Exactly. So, just got to do it.
The time. You can find at least 20 minutes.
Right. Right.
That's all you need if that's all you have.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. So all you moms who are out there, if you're still on the edge about whether or not you can do this writing thing, Katie and I are letting you know you can do it. You've got this. Absolutely. All right, Katie, who is your ideal reader and how do you help them?
Well, for my blog, it's definitely moms.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically young moms, since I'm a young mom. My oldest is 2, and then I have another one on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like a big kind of a transition of becoming a non-mom to a mom and trying to find like that balance of, hey, can I still do this?
Mm-hmm.
Mom guilt is it's such a big thing.
Yes.
Like, away from like something that's taken away from your family and all of that. As far as my fiction writing, which hopefully I will be published one day.
You will.
I want to go the traditional publishing route, but well, do an ebook on Amazon or whatever. For that, hopefully everyone. But specifically people that are into fantasy, like if you like Neil Gaiman or B. Schwab, I'd be a similar target audience.
Okay. Nice. I like the contrast. You've got your hands in different places, so I feel like that probably helps you not get bored as easily because you've got, realms to work with there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, when did you first become interested in writing and why?
I first became interested in writing at a young age. I actually kind of discovered, I guess what would be considered fan fiction, kind of recently. I started writing stories based off of like movies that I had seen, like when I was little, and then would kind of like replace the characters with like kids in my neighborhood. And then as I got a little bit older, like late middle school, high school, I learned about actual fan fiction. Started writing Harry Potter, terrible Harry Potter fan fiction. And then I got involved in drama when I was in high school, did like script writing. But at that point, I never really considered the idea of being an author and that was like something that could be viable in life. So I ended up going to school for journalism.
Okay.
And then got completely disillusioned. I had to take it was like a 1-credit course that was about like the business of journalism. And going to my first class, and the professor was there, and she was like, okay, everybody, newspapers are failing if you didn't, like, haven't been reading the news, and, like, no one's hiring, like, you're not going to work for the New York Times, which was, like, my dream at the time. So we're going to learn how to make a blog and learn how to, like, self-market yourself. And I just thought, why am I going to journalism school to do this?
Yeah.
So at that point, I just I again got kind of disillusioned, didn't end up doing anything to do with journalism or writing for a long time. And then eventually just kind of got to a point where I just felt like, yeah, I'm making money, but I'm not happy at all. I have to figure out how to make writing my business. So kind of like took a long detour, and now I'm back to marketing myself and writing a blog.
Okay. Wow. That's I think I've heard that similar story from most of the writers that I've interviewed for this series, is that we all tend to have had something in our childhood that sparked our interest for writing for whatever reason. And I find that to be very, very interesting. You mentioned fan fiction. Do you remember why that kind of stood out to you among other genres?
Well, I was very obsessed with Harry Potter. It was definitely a kind of like a turning point in my development, I guess. So waiting until the midnight release, getting that book, you know, became kind of like a ritual, but then it would be over in like 3 days, and then I'd have to wait another like a year or two.
Yeah.
So I became obsessed with different online communities that would discuss different theories that they had, and somehow came across fan fiction for Harry Potter, and that kind of became this window of like exploring possibilities, and then that kind of filled the gap of like waiting for the next Harry Potter book, but then also thinking about stories in a more creative avenue. I kind of started writing my own stories.
Okay. Nice. My oldest daughter found out about fan fiction this year, and she's like, oh my gosh, head over heels into it, and it's just fascinating.
It's like a black hole. It's not good. We'll be like 3 years older. You'll be like, where did you come from?
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's interesting though. It's a joy to see her, you know, pick a genre that she's really in love with and to, you know, just dive in it, you know. And she loves it. So that's great. Reading
is good, in my opinion.
And all of my kids really kind of remind me of myself. They are always with a book. Like they're going through it as fast as you go through water. Oh my gosh, like they're
I hope my son's like that. But he's only 2, so he doesn't really have the attention span to really.
Yeah.
I hope that's something he got from me, because otherwise he's like the clone of my
husband. Give him time. Oh. Well, you've talked a lot about, you know, the kind of writing you're interested in and that you do, and the genres that you really like, and even your journey to writing up until this point. What were some of those barriers that just, you know, you wanted to put your work out there, but just something was holding you back, and how did you overcome that something?
Well, with fan fiction, it was kind of easy because it wasn't me. Like, I created a whole different like persona. Was So that was easy because there were, if people would comment and didn't like what I was writing, it was okay because it didn't have my name attached to it.
Gotcha.
When I was in school and I was, writing different like journalism articles and stuff, that was something I was more confident in.
Mm-hmm.
Creatively, though, that was hard.
Okay.
Definitely had a lot of stalled projects that never showed anyone, probably never will show anyone. When you're writing creatively, you don't know if people are going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Pour so much of your heart and soul into it that it's scary to put yourself in a place of being vulnerable, of somebody critiquing your work and being like, oh, this is crap.
Right.
So it took a long time for me to be able to let people read what I was writing and then just go for it. And that's really what it comes down to. You just have to go for it. You just have to say, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, you're not gonna please everybody. Not everybody's gonna like what you're gonna write. And that's fine. They're just not your people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to write for you. You just have to go for it. It's not any simpler than that.
Yeah. I agree. It's really, really tough. Like you said, you just worked so hard. Like, people aren't aware of how much blood and sweat and tears you poured into it. And to hear like, oh my gosh, that just, no, it's horrible. Like it really does something to you, So yeah, I get that. But I'm glad you persevered, you worked through it, and, you're still doing it, and it takes guts.
You kind of get to a point where you just don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because not doing it makes you unhappy.
Right.
So,
right.
Are you going to pick your happiness or people's opinions that at the end of the day, you really don't care what they think anyway? If you really
For sure. Yeah. Like you said, everyone has their own taste. They're just not your people, and it's okay. Just keep at it. You'll find your people. Well, tell us about some of the writers that help shape your writing. I know you talked a lot about fan fiction and loving Harry Potter. So name some writers that really help shape your writing.
Neil Gaiman, for sure. I love him. American Gods, Neverwhere, Coraline. Something just happened on the TV with hockey. Something just happened.
It's okay. It's all right. My kids are running around in the background too.
Okay, let me think. Kurt Vonnegut. I love his kind of just like out there sarcastic style, but he also does some science fiction, fantasy as well, and kind of blends commentary about what's going on in the world at the time, and then you end up on another planet like 100 pages later. Stephen King, which is kind of funny because in real life I can't handle horror at all. I can't handle horror movies.
Oh my goodness!
But I really like his horror. And then I've recently gotten into V.E. Schwab just in the past couple of months. Her Darker Shade of Magic is fantastic.
Okay, all right. Nice.
Of course, Victoria and Harry Potter is always going to be a big one.
Oh, well, you've given me an array of authors to kind of look into a bit more. Some of them I'm familiar with, but not all the people that you mentioned. It's crazy. When I was a kid, I was more into fiction, and then the older I got, I got more into nonfiction. So I've kind of gotten out of it and I'm trying to ease my way back in. So yeah, I have to check out some of those names that you mentioned that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, I definitely read a lot more nonfiction.
Really?
Yeah, especially with historical biographies. Like, I'm a huge history buff,
Mm-hmm.
but for what I write creatively, I have to kind of be in touch with what's going on
Right.
in science fiction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a balance.
Mm-hmm. Sure, for sure.
2 or 3 books at a time.
Awesome. Well, I would have never known that. Historical fiction. That's cool.
Yeah, especially like different monarchies
Mm-hmm.
in Europe and Russia. Yeah, I don't know why. Just
Did you really like history in high school? Did that kind of have something to do with it?
I did. I was one of those people who would be reading my history book for like different assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, but then what happened? Like,
Yeah.
paragraphs. Like, that's not the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not everything that happened with a Trail of Tears. And then I'd have to go to the library and read, more books on the subject.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. So do you think you'd ever write something like historical fiction?
I don't know. Maybe if I had the right, it would have to be the right story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The problem with historical fiction is to do it right, it's so much research. It's so labor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not something you really have to do right now.
Okay. Okay.
It's easier to just kind of create your own world, I think, in a way.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Well, maybe something on the back burner you can kind of work on for in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I plan on living to 100, so I've got that.
Yeah. So, would you say historical fiction is probably the genre you most enjoy reading, or is there another?
I do really like fantasy as well. Not high fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
not like Lord of the Rings type stuff. But definitely more of the speculative fiction, magical realism type of. This is the world we're in, but there's some other
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, where do you see your writing taking you in the next 5 years?
I mean, the dream is that I would be self-sufficient from my creative writing. I mean, that's just writing, reading, and playing with my babies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A nanny so that I can write all day.
Yeah.
But honestly, even if it didn't get to that point, because I realize that is a big dream, just being able to write as my profession.
Mm-hmm.
So, freelance writing, content writing, maybe have something a little more stable where I'm like a contributor for a bigger blog. But I mean, as long as I'm writing, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm still on the path that I'm on, I think I'll be
fine. Okay. I like that idea of being a contributing writer as well. That's something that I actually put on my vision board for this year. Yeah. And fortunately, there is an up and coming writing magazine, an online literary magazine that one of my writer faves started up. And I actually made it through and will be a contributing writer / editor. So It can happen. It can definitely happen. So keep seeking it. Yeah, that's cool. And I think that's also a common thing I've seen with everyone I've interviewed for this series so far is everyone wants to, in some capacity, profit from their writing, where it eventually can become full-time, or, you know, whether it's through coaching other writers or, you know, being a writer for another agency or just whatever. I even had someone who wants to see their writing move into the film industry. And I just think it's just really awesome to hear the neat stories and the dreams and the goals that other writers have. So that's great.
Because even like these big name authors that you think of, they're not just writing.
Right.
They're doing speaking engagements. Authors that are also literary agents as well. Other writers on their journeys to be published.
Yeah.
So I think it's as writers, it's kind of like this inherent trait that you kind of are a jack of all trades because you do so many things.
Yeah.
So it's, if you don't get so bogged down with this idea of, you know, being the next J.K. Rowling or being the next Stephen King, you can have a fulfilling, successful writer's lifestyle that you, because, I mean,
yeah, totally makes sense. Yeah. And I like that you said, if we're not comparing ourselves, especially to these big name writers that everybody knows and loves, right? You know, everyone wants to be them.
All of their their like 8 movies. But that's not everyone, and that's okay. You don't have to be a starving artist.
Right. Exactly.
If you are a starving artist, it's probably because you are hung up on this idea of it's J.K. Rowling or nothing. That's not how you should be going into it.
Yeah. I think, you know, you've got to find a way to admire people. And there may be bits and pieces that you can take from that person and incorporate into your own thing. But ultimately, you know, you've got to make your own way. You've got to allow yourself to find your own writer path, what's going to work best for you and feel good for you as a writer, you know? Yeah. So there are a lot of writers out there who haven't arrived at that place, though. They see these big name authors and they're like, I can never be that. And they're not allowing themselves to be authentic in their writing, in their brand. What advice do you have for those writers?
You just have to go for it, and you just have to let it go. You're not going to be able to please everybody. There's people that aren't going to like you. There's people that are going to hate you. There's people that are going to troll you on Twitter. You're not writing for them. You're writing for you, and you're writing hopefully to help other people figure out, okay, who are you helping?
Yeah.
And that's your target. That's those are your people. And you just have to do it because you can't live your life for other people. And you have to go for it. Stop thinking about it. Stop stressing about it. You're going to make mistakes along the way. If you're not going to be perfect, you just have to do it, and you'll figure the rest out as you go. And have a little forgiveness of yourself as well, because you're going to make mistakes, and it's not that big of a deal because everybody else is making the same mistakes.
I like that. Have a little, allowing yourself the room to have those mistakes and to grow. I love that. You know, even our favorite authors make mistakes. Even still, you know, after years and years, you know, I feel like there's always something to learn, you know? So I love that advice. Allow yourself the room to make mistakes. Now, you've got some works in progress. We want to know what's going on. Give us all the details. We got to know. What are you working on?
I can't give you all the details.
Well, some, enough to grab us.
So my story is a trilogy. It spans it's set, in our time, in America. It spans about 20 years. Each book has the point of view of two different characters, and then you kind of learn everyone's journey throughout the next 3 books. It has to do with, kind of world events and things that are, pop culturally going on. And then everything kind of takes a shift. Your science fiction, fantasy thing. I just finished the first draft of the first book.
Okay.
No, it's still a little rough. Things could change. But I'll definitely be saying more as time goes on because I'm talking about it on my blog. Hopefully this time next year I'll be able to feel ready to start pitching to agents to get but I mean, we'll see. I am about to have my second child, so things might not go as quickly as I think they will. That's kind of my goal. I'd like to set big goals, and then if I don't meet them, it's okay. But I have kind of reach for the stars mentality when I set goals. Because I'm a bit of a procrastinator, so if I don't set big goals, then I won't feel like the urgency to. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, that's awesome. So how did you figure out that you wanted to do a trilogy as opposed to just a single book?
Well, it started out as it was just going to be a standalone book. The main character was a character that kind of popped into my head several years ago. I really have a story for her. And then one day, a couple of years ago, it kind of just came together. And I started writing it about 5 years ago. And wrote a few chapters and then got completely overwhelmed. Had that imposter kind of syndrome where this idea is just too big for me. Shelved it for a while and then picked it up about a year ago and got involved with the writing community online and some Twitter chats. And that was really the push that I needed to actually get it done. And then now the Prego brain
it's all right. It's all right. But you were talking about the online writing communities. That's actually where I met you, was in the Story Social chat.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So all of
Story Social, I don't think I would have finished my book. I think I would have. Having that community of other writers going through the same thing that I'm going through.
Yeah.
A lot of the girls that are on Story Social are also moms as well. The same thing I'm going through. Making some of those friends and being we're all kind of in this together. I would have finished it.
Yeah, for sure. All of you listening, if you are not currently a part of a writing community online, I highly recommend it. Like we said, we do Story Social. It's on Wednesdays at 9 Eastern Standard Time. Jump in. Don't be afraid to say hello. And if you don't understand the question, it's okay. Because like I said, I'm not primarily a fiction writer. It is still a dream of mine to put out something in fiction, but if I can be welcomed by all the fiction writers, you can too. So totally go for it. Yeah. 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 All right. So we know you're working on it. You're still on book number 1 out of your trilogy. And we want to know again, how can we stay in contact with you and to know how the story unfolds and when it's going to be ready and your journey as you're writing it? How can we stay in contact with you?
I'm documenting everything to do with my journey and some mom stuff thrown in there as well on my blog, perniciouskatie.com. Anyone who reads that will hear everything first. You can also follow me on Twitter. Although a lot of that stuff is mom jokes. So.
Well, awesome. We thank you so much, Katie, for your time. Like I said, I know you're probably tired and ready to kick up your feet. So we just thank you so much for joining us and just sharing your journey with us and how you allowed yourself to grow to this level in your writing. So thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Well, have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.